Boom! Welcome to Blockbuster Buff's 5-minute summaries. Today we're going to be summarizing The Thing, filmed in 1982, starring Kurt Russell, directed by John Carpenter. The Thing! So the way this segment works is that we will have exactly 5 minutes. Joe and I will pass it back and forth, and we will summarize to the best of our ability the movie The Thing. And if you are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and check out our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. All right, commencing this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's an alien craft that shows up in space. Title card. Then we get Antarctica, 1982. A helicopter starts flying around the tundra trying to shoot a dog, and it's not very good at shooting the dog, or maybe it hits the dog and the dog doesn't seem to care. It doesn't really matter. Cut to, there's a science center where there's a guy who looks like Kurt Russell, whose name is Mac Reddy. He's drinking some scotch, and he's playing chess with a computer. The computer wins, and then he kills it with the scotch. That dog, who they're trying to shoot with the helicopter, shows up at their science center, and all the people are like, oh my gosh, there's a dog and a helicopter coming out. And so then the dog plays nice, but it turns out the Norwegian helicopter shows up. They drop a grenade on accident next to their helicopter, blow it up, and then the Americans kill the other guy who tries to shoot the dog and wounds one of the Americans. So basically, from their perspective, a dog just showed up, and then Norwegians blew up their own helicopter, and then they killed him. Joe, over to you.
Okay, so from here, the dog starts hanging out with the crew in their research center. They've got doctors, they've got pilots, they've got cooks, and just general radio guys. So they've got a full crew of researchers at this Antarctica U.S. base. This dog seems super nice, super chill. The dog handler is kind of hanging out with it for a little while. McCready, Kurt Russell, and one of the
I believe it's pronounced Mac Reddy.
Wrong. And McCready and one of the doctors goes. They figure out that where the Norwegians' base is, and they fly the helicopter over to the base. They start searching around, and they realize that everything has been destroyed. It looks like like fires and bombs and everything have just damaged this place to all hell. They're walking around in there. Everything is frozen. They go into one room, and there is a man with his wrists cut and his throat cut. They find a empty ice, ice box, or a big cube that's frozen in the middle, or melted all in the middle, leaving a blank space. So from there, they head back. And
meanwhile, back at the base, the animal handler goes to check on the dog that he put in the cages with the other dogs. And we see this dog has mutated into a weird, spider-looking thing, and then shoots a bunch of, goo and tentacles on the other dogs. And then when the animal handler comes back, he opens the gate, and the dogs run out, but then the monster tries to get out, and Mac shows up with the flamethrower, and they start torching it, and then the doctor gets real concerned. He's like, I think this might be a shapeshifter, and then he asks his computer, is this a shapeshifter? And they're like, definitely it's a shapeshifter, 75% sure that people have been shapeshifted. And then the doctor gets real weird, and he starts chopping up different things and trying to keep them from getting off the base. He's like, everyone's gonna be stuck here forever. Anyway, cut to Joe talking about the rest of this movie.
So they realize that this thing can imitate whatever it wants, and at this point, at least one person has been imitated. So the doctor going crazy, they go and isolate him in a room, and then they're trying to figure out how to do a test on everybody. There's blood samples. Everyone has a blood sample in a fridge. They go to it. It's been broken into. All the blood samples have been destroyed. The only people that had access to it was the captain and one of the doctors. And so
and they suspect Mac because he had a cut-up shirt. Continue, Joe.
Right. And the monster gets into you by cutting up your shirt and in any way. So Mac ties up the doc and the captain and one of the other dudes that he all suspects, and he oh wait, nope, they don't get to that point yet.
Just keep going. We got 50 seconds.
Okay, so he draws blood from each of them, and he realizes that a monster is capable of doing whatever it wants with any part of its body. It's many different organisms. Don't show me that.
Yep.
And then
Here, I'll finish
so,
up.
Mac tests each of their blood samples, and one of them blows up, goes crazy, turns into a monster, and that dude starts transforming. He eats another dude's face. Mac has to fire flame him, and then Mac go.
Oh, yeah, and so then, basically, at this point, they have a crew that they know are not infected, and they go out and they start blowing up the base and, like, burning different parts of it. And then we find a secret basement where the Doctor has been building a spaceship, because he's one of the things, and then they rig the whole thing to explode, and then they basically go downstairs, and then the Doctor comes and he sticks his hand inside a dude's face, and then they blow up the basement, and then Mac and Chimes go out, and they, basically freeze to death together. That's the end of the movie, anyway. Ta-ding! We did it! Woo! If you just watch that on YouTube, check us out on Apple and Spotify. This is Matt and Joe with the Blockbuster Buffs talking about The Thing. Woo!